Big. My name is Muala Yakubu, and this is the Ghana Premier League on TV3 and, of course, on Onya TV as well. We are continuing our coverage in Pando, where Heart of Folk traveled to face Lions. That game ended goalless. I'm hoping that today, anytime Jeffrey comes around, so maybe we'll have a couple of goals here. Jeffrey, as well, and we'll be talking a lot about the Ghana Premier League game that is coming up. But as I always tell you, the Ghana Premier League is heavy on social media. Follow us so you don't miss a thing. On Instagram, just look for Ghana. It's Ghana League, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook for Ghana Premier League, especially with our YouTube page where we games live. Jeff, back at this historic ground. It's a big game that we'll be looking forward to. But let's do a recap of what happened on Friday. Heart of Folk were going into that game with a lot of optimism because of the forms of Heart of Lions, but it didn't materialize as the game ended. Baron.
Well, it's been the similar. Opportunity. Stephen Asari, beautiful pass, and then once again, Mauli Wayo's header. You expect him to direct the header very well to big goal. But unfortunately, that did not happen. Kevin Asenso. So where the two teams played quite well, that we didn't have decent clinical chances being end-to-end action anyway.
Of course, end-to-end action, but very black front. Something that has haunted them throughout the entire season. And it looks like it's still not that every week in training he tries to get the strikers to score.
I've been to their training. I've seen him spend time to teach what must be done. But unfortunately, the players up front are not the right caliber of players for him to use to get the result. Because look, Hamza, for several months, the coach has been spending time to teach him what to do. He's still not working on it. He's still not improving upon it. Mauli Wayo, they said he will do all the creative job where it matters most. He will waste the ball. So what the team need to do is to get additional players, come next season, so additional player either from the local scene or international scene, quality striker. Because the major problem has to focus. They have a good defense and good midfield. The number one problem is Africa. They are not scoring. You understand me? So they need to fix that, and the current players cannot fix that. But they have to end the season and then try to make some one or two additions up front, so that come next season, as will be a better and an improved side, and then they will see whether they can fight for the league title.
Now, one of the things that is extremely difficult for any coach is when you lose key players mid-season. Bashir Hayford had to suffer that fate. His goalkeeper left. Buama, who was part of that midfield trio, also had to leave, and it looks like that actually destabilized the rhythm a bit.
Of course, you expect that when the season commences, you pre-season with the team, you work on the team, you have a team structure. So when you are playing, you are comfortable because certain players are key and very incremental in the performance of the team. But unfortunately, in the course of the season, listen, the teams must do business. Yeah, Lawrence Esse was not business. He left for other reasons. But the team must also do business because listen, how much money are they making from the gate or from the FA or from personal sponsorship that we don't have one? So the team must also make it. When you do that, you have a situation where you lose key players. It will affect the structure and the rhythm of the team. You will not get the consistent result that you expect them. So you can't eat your cake and have it. Unfortunately, that's the reality.
Well, that is what Jeffrey is saying. So he ended goalless between the Heart of Lions and Heart of Folk. But here it is Asante Kotoko who are playing host to their city rivals, the Nations FC. We take a quick breather here. We'll be right back with more. Really a Sunday special here at the Barbara Sports Stadium because it's a big one. Asante Kotoko, they are coming up against Nations FC in March Day 26 of the Ghana Premier League. And this is live on TV3 and on your TV. My name Mutala Yakob here with Jeffrey Asare. Let's go through the fixtures, other games that are coming up today because all these games will be played simultaneously at several venues. Already 2 games have been played in the Ghana Premier League. We started on Friday with Heart of Lions, drew goalless with Heart of Folk. Then we had 11 Wonders surprisingly drawing 2-2 with Samatex. But in a few minutes time, Kotoko will be doing battle with Nations. There's also Dreams FC against the league leaders Mediema SC. Then Baseke Oli Stars will be at home as they take on Young Apostles. Baby Eddie Gold Stars, they will be hoping that they will get a win early from Mediema because they are coming up against a very dicey Vision FC side. Brecum Chelsea will also face Karela United with Sweden Blacks also playing Ho United, and Bechim United would be facing Adriana FC. All these games will kick off at 3 p.m. Let's look at the table and how things are shaping up as it stands. Mediema are still on top of the pile with 46 points. Just a point better than BBN Gold Stars, who are second with 45. Heart to Folk, they have dropped to third with 42 points. And Adriana are fourth, currently with 41. Asante Kotoko, a win for them would mean that they go past the likes of Adriana and go on to fourth position. So this game is very important to them. Nations FC currently occupy the 9th spot with 34 points. And 3 points for them would mean that they also move further away from the relegation zone. The other half of the table, that is where we have the likes of 11 Wonders, who are rock bottom of the Ghana Premier League. Doesn't look good for them, but the focus here is Nations coming up against Asante Kotoko. Last 2 games, Kotoko are winless and would want to get back to winning ways because it doesn't look good for them should they drop points today.
Well, psychological and mental is not good for them. It's not good for the fans. They've been tortured in recent performance of the club. Today's game, the players must rise above themselves, play above themselves, be more competitive and try to be clinical in front of goal. I mean, anything short of that, trust me, I mean, that'll be devastating the club. They lost here against their arbitrary rival. Yes, everything beat by Big Young Apostle. They came here and dropped a point against Vision, and then they also went and lost the game against Karela. So that's a very difficult situation for the club to find itself. Now they are coming up against a team they've never beaten in the league. They even won here. I mean, Emmanuel Boahin, the right back for Nations, he crossed the ball that Asama Boatin and Free scored here. The Lenkle one, Nafi Suleimana and Feza Chauti. So this is a game where Kotoko need to break the jinx when it comes to the league performance, when they come up against Nations all the time. So there's a lot at stake. Nation want to continue the usual dominance of Asante Kotoko. Don't forget, Kwame Chesgeri, former Chesgeri board chairman, owns Nation. Then there's from Kotoko defender. So this is Kotoko versus itself in disguise. So there's a lot interesting dynamics at stake in this particular encounter.
Of course, a lot at stake with Dr. Kwame, who is the owner of Nations FC. He has been a former board chair of Asante Kotoko in recent times, and he will be looking at getting one over his former side. That is the Nations dressing room. They have some very, very good players. One man who has returned and is among the goals as usual is Emmanuel Ano. He scored a brilliant goal in the 3-0 win over Bechim United the last time out. Emmanuel Ano, nine goals scored so far. Jeff, do you think that he can hit double figures before the season ends?
Well, he just have to be consistent and clinical in front of goal. I mean, if he continues like that, look, he scored again 11 Wonders, and then he also scored again Bechim. If he continues the consistency, he will be able to do that.
Of course, and that is how Nations FC arrived at the Barbara Sports Stadium in a beautifully cladded Nations FC bus. Players very determined. Razak Simpson, one of the stalwarts at the back for Nations FC, captain, fantastic, they call him. He would also be in action. Now, the interesting thing about this game is that Asante Kotoko have never defeated Nations FC in a league game.
That is the crack of the matter. Do Kotoko have what it takes today to rise above themselves and beat them for the first time, or will Nation continue dominant? Razak Simpson and Emmanuel Boahin have been part of the teams that have been in Kotoko 1-0 here and 2-0 at Lenkle. So they have a lot of experience when it comes to these matches.
Of course, a lot of experience in this one. But both coaches have arrived at the Barbera Sports Stadium, and we had a talk with them. For Prince Yao, also the head coach of Asante Kotoko, it's important to get back to winning ways for the fans. And for Frimpong Manso, who is a Ghana Premier League winner with BBN Gold Stars, consistency is key, and they want to win this one. Coach, March day 26, you are coming up against a Nations FC side that Kotoko has never beaten in the Ghana Premier League. How do you plan to change that today?
Yeah, it needs to be changed of the situation that we're in. It needs to be changed anyway, anyhow it comes out. It needs to be changed today.
Now, one of your prize players, that is Lord Amwa, is currently injured. Kote has come in, he played the last game. How do you see his comeback?
Yeah, I think I'm getting comfortable a little bit. Before it was very difficult for us. We saw the situation that was going to be very hard on ourselves, but his performance is just coming up every day. The time is coming up.
With the recent results that has come within the last few weeks, has the focus or the plan changed that is challenging for the title, which you told me from the start of the season?
Yeah, you yourself, you can see the futures doesn't tell who's going to win the thing. Those up there are not stretching the margin, but still very, very close. So it depends on us to get our teams together and then win some 3 points today and then move on.
Last 2 games, no points here. How important would it be for Kotoko to get back to winning ways?
It means a lot. It means a lot. The supporters and everything, we need to make them happy. And today, the boys are ready for that.
Coach, it's March day 26. You are coming up against Asante Kotoko, a team that has never defeated Nations FC in the Ghana Premier League. Does that play to your advantage?
Well, that is past now. We are in the present now. So it's what is going to happen today. That's what we are looking at. It's good to have those history, but then for me, I don't care about what has passed. I'm looking at what's going to happen today.
You're unbeaten in the last 4 games in all competitions. How important would it be to continue that?
Yeah, at least it's giving us some hope. It's giving us some confidence. So we'll try to make sure we continue like that.
One of the best players currently in the Ghana Premier League, Emmanuel Ano, came back, is among the goals. How important would he be to this afternoon's course?
Yeah, he's been a very important player since day one. And for us, he's somebody who can at any time do anything. So yes, we have a lot of confidence, trust in him, and we hope he can get a good afternoon today.
Coach, we wish you the very best.
Yeah, thank you.
Frimpong Manso is a Ghana Premier League winner with BBN Gold Stars last season. Now the men that are going to do battle for Asante Kotoko, the 11 men who will be looking at winning this game for the Porcupines have lined up. Darius Haruna is in post for them. Then we have Gilbert Sambonel, who is the captain. Hubeje, who is in there with Patrick Asiedu. Albert Samoa, Seth Kojo, Fuseni Zakaria. Then there's Peter Aqua Amidu as well. Kote Emmanuel starting his second game for Asante Kotoko after returning from injury, and there's Prince Bedu and Johnson Opon Owusu as well. The men on the bench today, there's Musa Hamzata, Mofrin Donzo, Emmanuel Entry, Benjamin Chum, Baba Yaya, Adam Inusa, there's Joseph Amwa and Yakubu Dogo. That is for Asante Kotoko. There you have the warm-up on the screens there. For the other side, that is Nations FC. It is Rabin Sanon who is in post for them. Then there's Razak Simpson as well. Swedus Uini is also starting with Raymond Oko Gripman, who definitely would be the centre-back pair for their captain, that is Razak Simpson. Then there's Kwame Boache, Frederick Inzoli, Abdullah Mashoud. Then there's Ivan Safu, Emmanuel Buahin, Emmanuel Ano, and of course Brandon Entry Sapong as well. Jeff, very strong lineup from the 2 teams, but I mean they are lined up in the tunnel and ready to come out and do battle. So I hand you over to our team of commentators, Benjamin Willie Graham and Josiah Okokwe. See you after the first 45 minutes.
In the heart of Ghana, a nation rich with natural resources and vibrant culture, lies the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, a beacon of excellence in the energy sector. For over 40 years since its creation, GNPC has committed to its mandate of developing Ghana's own petroleum resources to support the provision of adequate and reliable supply of petroleum products and reduce the country's dependence on crude oil imports, charting in the process. In education, the corporation has, among other things, constructed over 150 classroom and dormitory facilities and awarded over 4,000 scholarships to deserving Ghanaian students at the graduate and postgraduate education levels. Recognizing the importance of preserving Ghana's natural environment and the health of its people, GNPC has funded the construction of over 700 borehole water systems, 86 sanitary facilities, and 30 AstroTurf pitches to enhance physical and sporting health. GNPC, powering dreams.
Hello everyone, so under the blazing Kumasi sun, where passion echoes through every red seat and heartbeat. Now you're going to welcome yourself down to the grand arena of rivalry. Today, it is known as the footballing family feud, no other. It is Asante Kotoko at home today against Nations FC. Just across, about 45 minutes away, you find yourself in the home grounds of Nations FC. And majority of the people managing Nations FC once upon a time were managing Asante Kotoko. So this is what is known as the family affair feud here at the Babarawa Stadium for match day 26 between Asante Kotoko and Nations FC. Now the Warriors are looking into having some exciting moments in their football, but the fans are really not coming to the stadium in their numbers. Just a bit worrying situation for Asante Kotoko, but that certainly will mean that both teams are going to walk into this arena and trying to find out how best they can entertain. I wouldn't want to say the empty seat though, but they have to find a way to get the fans into the stadium.
Yeah, good afternoon, Graham. Just like you said, it's a family feud, but definitely 90 minutes of hostilities. This is one of the fixtures where Kumasi Asante Kotoko, no matter how they choose to look at it, they've never ever been dominant in this particular fixture against their city rivals. Back then it used to be King Faisal until they got relegated. Now it's Nations FC, and they find it so difficult, to beat this team. They are yet to win against them, and even to make matters worse, they are yet to score a goal in this fixture at home.
Well, after the two sides walk onto the pitch, Asante Kotoko yet to record a league victory against Nations FC. Well, a statistics that continues to raise a lot of eyebrows there. In the last 5 previous meetings, Nations FC have dominated this fixture by winning 3 of those matches against Asante Kotoko. So certainly you have a lot of work there for the coach who's sitting in as interim coach against Karim Zito's exit, and he has to change the fortunes of Asante Kotoko in today's game.
Most certainly he has to, and there's quite a lot for him to do, especially against a resurgent Nations FC team that are unbeaten in their last 4 games, in the top flight. That makes it even more difficult for Kumasi Asante Kotoko under their interim head coach. Just 1 win in 4 games so far, and it looks like the pressure keeps piling on him.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're talking about the match here at the Babarawa Stadium. Asante Kotoko looking forward to seeing how best they can enjoy their football, how best the fans will be coming in. Asante Kotoko, obviously in their all-red outfit, their nations in all white and orange. So they also walk in there. And this is one of the games that Asante Kotoko walk into this game. Is a bit of pressure on the Porcupine Warriors, particularly on interim coach Prince Yawusu. In his 4 matches in charge so far, he managed just 1 win alongside just 1 draw and 2 defeats. Around that really has seen a lot of scrutiny on him as whether he deservedly so would be the man to lead Asante Kotoko going forward.
He's spoken quite a lot of times, but he's always said, these decisions on the pitch aren't his to make. He says it all the time that he expects the players to bury the ball when they create the chances. It's not like they're not creating chances. They do create chances, but finishing of these chances has been the problem for Kumasi Asante Kotoko in the last 4 games under Prince Owusu.
Well, Asante Kotoko really made 5 changes in the setup there, and so 2 suspension there to goalkeeper Mohamed Kamara and of course centre back Henry Ansu, and so they both are not part of this game. Their left full back Patrick Asiri also replaces Inusa Adam, and then Kwampoku, who's failed to score in the last 5 matches there for Asante Kotoko, and he is also sitting out for Peter Amidu Akwa. 5 changes for Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, I've said it. It looks more like a 4-4-2 diamond, but this could morph into a 4-3-3, you know, whenever they choose to attack, dependent on the phase, on also what they are doing at a point in time. You have Johnson Owusu, Albert Amoah, and then also Peter Midwakwa leading the attack for them with that support of Prince Bedu, and then also Seth Kojo together with Hubert Jew. It looks like an attacking lineup, and you would expect Kotoko to break that jinx of never having scored a goal in this fixture at home.
Again, you talk about Nations FC, and specifically you're looking at how the teams are trying to enjoy their football, and almost everything that needs to work on them. It's particularly exciting moment for them.
Yeah, certainly for Nations FC, they've been quite ambitious. The number of times we've seen them, you know, this their third season, you know, in the top flight, and you know, last season was the best season they had statistically, getting very, very close, you know, to the title until they were docked some 3 points there for failing to complete their game against Barca Kiholi Stars in the Western region, and then they lost those crucial points as well, and ended up slipping, you know, out of the top four. But they're quite an ambitious team, and you know, whenever they come into this fixture, they have the hopes and, you know, that, you know, confidence that they can get a better of their city rivals, because Kotoko hasn't really fared well in this particular fixture in the last 2.5 years.
Well, Asante Kotoko here at the Bayera Stadium, and certainly they are looking to change a lot of things there for the fans who's here trying to see how they can support the side. But the interesting spectacle here is that Asante Kotoko want to start the first attack there on the right-hand side, putting themselves in some awkward pressure there, and so centre-back for Nations FC, Razak Simpson, ensuring that he wins back possession there for Nations FC. Well, it's going to be an aggressive display there by Peter Midwakwa. Certainly one of the players that you're looking forward to. His marauding runs on the flanks, but he's got a lot of work to deal with, especially coming up against Emmanuel Boahini and Kwame Boachi, the left full back. So basically, there's going to be a lot of war there in midfield and defense as they try to have Raymond Okogripman, also one of the beautiful partners at the back there with Razak Simpson. Oh, lovely work now, Nations FC. The confidence in time they're playing Asante Kotoko, trying to push the ball around. And you'll have Asante Kotoko coming back to tidy things up at the back. Midwakwa. It's a bit of an interesting spectacle there, having the return of Asante Kotoko's attacking play. Albert Amoah and Kwampoku yet to combine effectively to score. And Albert Amoah really getting the better of Simpson, and goes into the box looking for space, and nobody there to connect. And that's a lovely piece of work there on Albert Amoah, the man I was just talking about. And Razak Simpson was simply left looking for space. And Amoah, who scored just one goal after his return to Kotoko against Basake Oli Stars, beginning to open up here.
Yeah, and they're enjoying using the right-hand side of attack now. We saw Peter Midwakwa, you know, very, very early inside that game with that good press, winning that ball. And then later on, it was also Albert Amoah with that run down the right-hand side, but it cut back a bit too heavy for the approaching Johnson Owusu, you know, to just connect to that.
Amoah again, now he loses possession. I'll tell you, ordinarily it's better to see Kotoko Tertiary here, but my intel tells me that they are not watching this game today because they are not happy Kotoko not winning matches.
Yeah,
but the interesting bit of it again is that you have Nations FC, who's got this very young supporters group known as the Catch Them Young Supporters. They're rather here sharing Nations FC up, but Kotoko Tertiary absent today.
Because obviously, you know, two contrasting stories so far. You have Kotoko not winning games, and you know, on the flip side, Nations FC unbeaten their last 4. They've won some good games. The last game was a 3-0 win against Bichim United. So, you know, these young fans would have every reason to troop into the stadium to enjoy them.
Again, you have another goalkeeper in the side of Asante Kotoko, Aziz Dari Haruna, who is stepping in there for Mohamed Kamara. And a bit of a story there about Aziz Dari. He claimed about 15 clean sheets in all competitions last season for Bichim United. At the point, he went 10 games without conceding a single goal. And he's switching play to Asante Kotoko. Now he gets a chance to replace Kamara, who's suspended for today's game. Well, the suspension happened off-field incident that happened in the match against Karela, where Kotoko lost by a goal to nil.
Yeah, in the game where many thought that whatever he did, his actions, were quite needless there after the game where they lost by 1 goal to 0. In the game where Henry Ansu also had himself sent off, and you talk about what he did, it's not justifiable enough, which to a larger extent I believe has cost his team today, because if not for that suspension, definitely Kamara will be the one in between the sticks for Kumasi. Asante Kotoko, not also taking away the fact that he's really been reliable, even though he's not really, or he's made some petty errors in recent times. He's still one of the best goalkeepers you'd find in the Ghana Premier League this season.
He's trying to see how Nations FC will be able to get things going there for this match and today's fixture, where it's one of the toughest games there. But you talk about Nations FC goalkeeper as well, and expectation is that he'll be able to give them a clean sheet there, and Asante Kotoko once again have to come back defensively to clear the lines. And you then have to see the likes of Johnson Opong in the 45 shirts with possession now for Asante Kotoko, spreading play down to the right hand side, and he finds support there, and as Kotoko begin to move, Prince Bedu is also playing a role there. Albert Amwana combining well with Amidu Akwa. Lovely piece of work now. Amidu Akwa in the box now, dragging the ball back, and Simpson trying to flick it backwards, losing it out. And Nations certainly would have a player, Abdallah Mashoud, clearing things. Kotoko back again with possession. They are putting a lot of pressure there on Nations. Go Gripper now, and again, just losing possession in a very dangerous area. Simpson comes out here. Amidu Akwa with a chance on the left foot. Amidu Akwa! Well, it counts down to one thing. Rabin Sanon, the goalkeeper who's got 8 clean sheets this season. We're keeping 2 in the last 2 games. With that final touch on the ball there to deny Amidu Akwa a goal. Yeah,
brilliant save there by Rabin Sanon. Goes down. Just have a tip on that one. But it was Ivan Safo losing the ball in a very, very dangerous area. Kansas area, but just couldn't trap that ball the first time, giving away possession cheaply to Kotoko. That was a good save by Rabin Sanon.
We're talking about the play there. But corner kick fails a bit there to Asante Kotoko, left with a tick in. And again, Simpson with a header here, but Nations FC without to now fiercely move forward, trying to drag it to the left-hand side, but it's been well dealt with patiently by Asante Kotoko. And that was a lovely piece of work there for the 3-shirted player for Asante Kotoko. Emmanuel Kote, who's playing today as the right full back today.
He's really struggled with injuries in the last couple of seasons. Emmanuel Kote, a very good, pacey right back during his days at Inswachaman. Really being the kind of player he was when he used to play for Inswachaman until Kotoko acquired his services, though.
Yeah. Look at the bench of Asante Kotoko and look at the face of the players who obviously some of them will be hoping that they get a chance to play a part here. It's been a very difficult moment there for Asante Kotoko this season in terms of how they have played the matches. Amidu Akwa once again very much busy this afternoon. It's a foul. 5th on the Premier League log, Asante Kotoko with 39 points after 25 matches, picking up 10 wins, 90 draw, and 6 defeats. The last defeat actually came in a match against Karela, and I'm not too sure that they want to go again by conceding yet any goal this afternoon. And they try to push the ball on the other side of play. Nations FC mainly control the tempo of the game. In the midfield, they obviously want to have the likes of Evan Safo. Oh, good work. Beautiful play. And Nations trying to find space. Brandon Entry Sapong, the left-footed winger, really doing his job beautifully there.
It was good, close control there. Not what he intended to do. Brandon Entry Sapong already very flashy in this game. Let's see, trying to dink that ball into the 18-yard box there, but execution just failed him at that point.
Sometimes you do see centre back Asante Kotoko, and you have Johnson here. He's got two players to contend with. Trying to bring his player down there with a bit of a push there. Mano Boahin doing so well by winning possession there for Nations FC. Abdullah Mashoud also guide the ball out of play. Samba O'Neill sometimes not to play as a holding midfield. That depends on how the coaches want to deploy him in the matches, especially so if Kotoko needs that bit of a midfield strength. That's when he's sometimes deployed here. Samba O'Neill has come back to win possession. Oh, nice play there for Nations FC to get themselves in a very good position against the crossbar. Nations nearly got the first goal. Wow. Emmanuel Arnaud just couldn't pounce on the rebound for a first goal there for Nations FC. But what a strike it was. First attempt, quality play. Nations FC nearly punished Asante Kotoko.
Explosive. Suhini with that lovely pass, over the top of those two players there, Prince Bedu and then also Samba O'Neill in no man's land. But Emmanuel Arnaud should be doing better. He just had that ball at his mercy. All he had to do was to tack it, ensure that it was on target. But just look at that from Suhini. Lovely pass to Nzoli. Hits that one against the upright. And instinctively, you're thinking that he just should be bearing that, Emmanuel Arnaud.
On the other side, Asante Kotoko do find himself in a very good position. Johnson! Well, end-to-end action this afternoon here at the Babayawa Stadium. Quality play by the two sides.
Yeah, similar situations there again. That ball falling kindly to Johnson Nowusu. He should also be hitting that one on target. And you wonder how these two teams haven't scored yet in this game. Quite unbelievable looking at the quality of chances. And if you're talking about expected goals, it should really be up there, especially with Arnaud's chance where he missed very, very close to the goalkeeper's area.
Well, just 10 minutes of play already. It's the goalless, but two teams have had very good chances at goal. Asante Kotoko nearly got punished by Prince Bedu strike, and Johnson equally replying Nations FC with that. This is turned out to be something else. Worthwhile in terms of what the fans were looking to enjoy. Samba O'Neill just ballooned the ball away, and you could see the reaction there from Emmanuel Kote, who was hoping at least you could just get a pass to him.
Quite unusual of Samba O'Neill, one of the calmest, most tactically disciplined players you have on the pitch for Kotoko.
Entry Sapong for Nations, turns well on the left, and Kote just beating Entry Sapong in the box. And Asante Kotoko now have to defend this corner kick. Entry Sapong once again tormenting Emmanuel Kote on the left back.
He has this magical left foot whenever he has a touch of the ball, gets hold on the ball. It's so difficult to dispossess him. Just look at that, so strong again. Uses his body upper weight to his advantage again. Creates the space for himself, but good intervention from Zakaria. Already they're struggling to deal with his trickery, strength and pace.
Kotoko has considered just 16 goals, which makes them the fourth best defensive side. With Hearts with 9, Somerset with 14, and the Journal with 14 in terms of goals conceded so far. Kotoko scored a total of 30 goals in this league, making them the second best scoring side in the Premier League after Mediama with 33 of the goals have been scored, and now they have this corner kick to defend. So seen a lot of players, and of course the backs trying to give them the thumbs up. And now they have to clear the lines, and Asante Kotoko just get out of wood here, and Prince Bedu once again with another strike. But this time picked up by Aziz Dari Haruna. And again, he was talking about the work thrown by Frederick Ndoli as well. And you're talking about Asante Kotoko possession, just the midfield area. Albert Amwa trying to look for space on the right there for Amidou Akwa. Couldn't quite read the run of Albert Amwa well. Entry Sapong. A lovely piece of recovery there from Kote. Wins back possession. And Asante Kotoko now in a very good place. Johnson also failing to get the ball. Hubert Jehu. Kote here looking to advertise ball into another far side, and Johnson looking to win possession away. And Nations have Gripman tidying things up at the back.
They've been pretty comfortable in defense, Nations FC, and you're wondering how they managed to keep 2 clean sheets in their last 2 visits here, and it's just been because they've always been practical, very, very pragmatic, whenever it comes to defending, and that's what we've already seen, only giving away 1 big chance, in this game that fell kindly to Johnson, who failed to bury it, but, whenever they build up, you can see how they want to be steady, not to give the ball away, build up slowly from the back.
Some years ago, it used to be King Faisal being the original rivals here at the Barbara Stadium, and Nations FC now taking over from King Faisal, beginning to have perhaps been a thorn in the flesh of Asante Kotoko in the Premier League. Simpson here. And Dolly. And Chelsea will have to recover quickly for Asante Kotoko. He does so. Nations FC sitting 9th on the Premier League log with 34 points after 25 matches. They only scored 9 goals in the last 5 matches as well. Now they want to hit the ball from long ranges, trying to cut Asante Kotoko off guard. 15 minutes already gone on the clock. And both teams have had shots at goal. And a long ball here for Amidu Akwa. Simpson will have to control that beautifully there at the back for Nations. Fine space in his goalkeeper, Rabin Sanon.
It's so easy for them now, especially when you're not applying any sort of pressure Kotoko without the ball. We spoke about the fact that, without the ball, it looks more like a 4-4-2 diamond. But it's just not going well for them in the attacking third.
I tell you what, this looks to me a very legal tackle. Both teams are just both players were good for the ball, and there you have it. Was it a bit of a nudge there?
Exactly, I would agree with you on that. Yeah, Emmanuel Ano, and that's where the frustration is stemming from. Just look at that. Doesn't trip and wins the ball cleanly, and right, in front of the assistant referee there. I think it was just a wrong call. Any player at all would be frustrated by that.
Again, you talk about the centre back there, Samba O'Neill, very much disappointed. And there's a lot of pressure now, Asante Kotoko, especially the centre backs by Nations FC, who really attacking them from all angles. The Nations FC in their last 5 matches have won 3, lost 1 and drawn 1 as well. The 3-0 win against Pechem United, 2-0 win against Wonders, and a 2-1 win over Midiema, with another 2-1 loss to Hoa United, and a 1-1 draw with Dreams, all in the last 5 matches. Nations FC, and here they go again looking for the first goal. They're searching for it, and Asante Kotoko would have to find a way to defend with Patrick Asiedu coming in.
Slow and steady, but then very, very precise and accurate by Nations FC. Whenever they're building up, they're never in the rush. They try to find men in open spaces, and this time another long ball causing all sort of problems. Mashoud Abdullah there trying to break that one down, but quick intervention.
Now they have a set piece here. Asante Kotoko to defend. Entry Sapon Brandon just behind the ball. Meanwhile, Asiedu is also riding in pain. Needs some bit of assistance there medically to get himself back onto the field. Again, Asante Kotoko currently are trailing league leaders Midiema by 7 points, leaving title a little bit of a margin for error if they have any plan. And there you have the Catch Them Young supporters of Nations FC. They are indeed looking to support the side to get a win, and have the Oak Seed for Hatzafuk, and Asante Kotoko will have the Young Porcupines. But Young Porcupines are not here because they are also showing their discomfort by coming to the stadium and not seeing Kotoko win. And again, you do have a bit of comfort for the Black Stars, who have matches against Austria and Germany. It's a big thank you for their support there. Patrick Asiedu is not really looking good, is he?
Well, he's not. He is not. After picking up that knock there, he's always been crucial to that setup. Certainly, they might be falling on Joseph Amwa, who can play on either side of that fullback role for Patrick Asiedu. He's still limping there. It's been asked if he could continue, but I doubt he'll be able to.
You do have another opportunity here. Samba O'Neill whipping the ball into no man's land, especially so. And Asante Kotoko failed to score in their last 3 home matches. A trend that is pretty much a worrying situation there for them. The overall home form remains a very strong one in the Premier League. Their recent lack of a cutting edge has really shown how vulnerable they are. And Nations FC once again very much confident in trying to go forward there with the Samba boss into the half. Asante Kotoko. And Nations so far have been controlling the midfield against Asante Kotoko. They really have seen a lot of the possessions. And Samba O'Neill would have to defend and swat the effort of not to win it back and put pressure on him.
It's been so easy for them, Nations FC, and that's given the fullbacks the license to bump forward. Boahin on the right hand side, also seeing Kwame Boachi on the left hand side, all joining the attack, playing a bit more inverted because there's no pressure whatsoever, from the Kotoko midfield, especially having Zoli and then also Ivan Safo controlling affairs in midfield. It's really been dominant from them in the opening 20 minutes, and I think perhaps you would want to find Jewu more in the game. You would also want to find Prince Bedu, who's really been messing so far in this game, not really seen the best of these 2 players, and that's the reason why, to some extent, you find Nations FC controlling, the midfield.
Prince Bedu here for Kotoko. Now find space in the goalkeeper Aziz Dari. Kotoko now pinging the balls just around their own defensive lines. This being some bit of work there, Kote. And Emmanuel Kote really is not seen plenty of the balls there. And a bit of a push that's going to be a throw-in advantage there to Albert Amwa. And here comes Kwame Boachi showing his approval there, that he was nudged by Albert Amwa. And was looking for the call there in his favor, which was not given. Just Johnson go to him to tell him that, brother, let's just get the game going.
Yeah, he was waiting for the foul. He thought he was pushed there. Yeah, it was a bit of a push on him right in front, and just look at that. Yeah, Albert Amwa just from behind. He just wasn't happy with that call going his way.
It turns around through here, and Simpson comes out. It's another very best attacking play for Asante Kotoko. Prince Bedu here. Hubert Jehu. Again, looking for Johnson. Not the best decision there from Hubert Jehu. Again, Asante Kotoko have struggled so far in terms of finding a cutting edge right in front of the 18-yard box of Nations FC, as they still have possession and try to move forward. Good play now in the box, and Peter Amidu-Akwa looking to cut in with the right and dragging the ball back. Amidu-Akwa is still stayed on, and flag never went up against him. But I tell you what, this is how close Asante Kotoko sometimes do come. They're trying to find a way to get the first goal.
Yeah, so swift. Nations FC just didn't see it coming. It's always difficult dealing with the space, especially when he's playing in his element. Peter Amidu-Akwa, just a switch of play, one simple touch, and he found himself in a very, very dangerous area. The cutback was just dealt with.
Kotoko again. Kote. Another ball into the far side. Asante Kotoko have the first goal, and they do! And guess who scored? It is Asante Kotoko's Albert Amwa. He's returned to Asante Kotoko after going to Libya. He's back, and this is his second goal. His first was against Basake Holy Stars, and he makes it to the season with yet another beautiful header here to make it 1-0 for Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, you talk about header. a bit impressive. But what about that for a cross from Kote? Exquisite. Just right onto the head of Albert Amoah. Yeah, a bit of a late defending there. They've been defending pretty decent up until that time where Albert Amoah had to show a bit of strength there. No instincts there, but what about that for a cross? And just no one applying pressure on the fullback. We've seen bump forward a couple of times in this game, but that was a beautiful wet goal. I think that could also take away some pressure off Albert Amoah himself, having not scored quite a lot, since his return.
Well, Asante Kotoko would have to be feeling a bit of uneasy here after seeing the first goal, or the first team to get the first goal here. And said Kojo, he's also trying to mount a midfield there with Prince Bedu. Yet again, Asante Kotoko looking to have Amoah, who's been busy this afternoon. Simpson having difficulty dealing with him, and he concedes a free kick. And he's been one of the prolific strikers for Asante Kotoko. I remember before he left for Libya, he's scored a very wonderful goal against Brecon Chelsea at a Golden City Park.
About Simpson there, protesting his innocence, and Albert Amoah showing a bit of strength again, using his trickery to his advantage, and that's what goes sometimes does to attackers. It just skyrockets their confidence, and on that occasion you can see Albert Amoah certainly getting into his groove after scoring that goal.
And the man who provided the assist there, Kote and Johnson, looking to find space. He's got Kote here. Again, not able to go around his man. And there's going to be a yellow card, the first yellow card of the afternoon. And I tell you what, he's going to be shown to Kote. He lost possession and decided to pull back. Brandon, and of course, that's the decision.
Yeah, a bit needless there from Kote when you have Johnson upon just closing in, trying to deal with the situation. Just not really what should have done at that point.
I tell you what, it's a lot of a tag of war going on here. Asante Kotoko eventually find themselves out of the woods. And here they go, Albert Amoah. Switching play beautifully there, Peter Amiduakwa. Just looking for Johnson, late in arriving. And Albert Amoah has been given it back to the Chari.
It's all about the transitioning now. The transition is so quick now, and they always leaving Nations FC on the back foot, backpedaling all the time whenever they have the ball with Peter Amiduakwa. Saw that run of Albert Amoah right into the box, hoping that ball would have found him. And again, Razak Simpson dealing with it. That's what you would want to see, especially when the team is yet to recover, and just shape up again. You just want to hit them with that quick break, and that has been Kotoko's strength so far.
Now they seem to be getting themselves out of the woods. Set Kojo swinging and switching play. Finds Kote. Johnson, not the best of control by wins it back. Johnson turns one beautifully, and this time Jewu would want to go in for a long strike, but seems to be having an issue there. Asante Kotoko, one of the players there. I tell you what, might be Albert Amoah. Maybe difficult if Albert Amoah is off the pitch.
Yeah, that was even before the incident then. That was the reason why he didn't pick up that ball, from Johnson Owusu, because already he was feeling a bit of pain in his foot. Right after scoring the goal, it would be a big blow if Kotoko would lose him out.
A cooling break at the moment here at the Babarewa Stadium. Asante Kotoko lead one by 1-0, and Frimpong Mansu is also a legend of Asante Kotoko. Remember, he's played his role there for Asante Kotoko before, and this afternoon he's switching play and He's currently with Asante Kotoko. Remember, he won the league there with the Gold Stars. Didn't really do well in terms of their play.
I think Ali Mohammed there. He wasn't actually for Hearts of Oak on Friday in Bando. You're wondering how he managed to get himself here for this game. But like you rightly said, I think for Frimpong Manso there will be quite a lot of pressure on him, despite the fact that it's his first season with Nations FC. In his first season with the Gold Stars, it was a similar thing, trying to get it better of the team, augment the squad during the transfer window. And then he went on to win the league title in his first full season. Maybe perhaps he could replicate that with Nations FC. Nations FC themselves, coming close last season, but then missing out, after some, unfortunate incidents in the latter part of last season. But in this game, they've not been pretty bad. I think they should have taken the lead earlier on. That big chance falling, to Emmanuel Ano, who failed to, make good use of it after Nzoli's strike had come off the upright. I mean, Kotoko would always have the edge, especially when they are playing at home. And we spoke about the fact that they've never scored a home goal in this fixture. And Albert Amwa breaking that jinx. Perhaps they'll be looking at, holding on to that lead and claiming victory.
Well, the recent head-to-head record favors Nations FC. Since October 2023, they have won 3 of their 5 meetings between them and Asante Kotoko, with 2 other matches and draws. And Kotoko managed just 2 goals in those encounters compared to Nations FC. They had 7 goals scored against Asante Kotoko. So Albert Amoy's goal here makes it 3 goals. Asante Kotoko have scored against Nations as Peter Midwaka, who's switching play from left to right hand side, now begin to find space. And again, his effort there gives him a corner kick. 30 minutes already gone here at the Babara Stadium. Half an hour gone, 1-0. It is there for the Porcupine Warriors against Nations.
And a great link-up play there by Albert Amwa. Does it so effortlessly, finding Peter Midwaka with the inside of his foot there. Just laser onto his path, and you could see what Peter Midwaka was also trying to do. Set Kojo lurking at the far end, and that skill, if executed, would have been a wonderful one. And to go with the outside of his boot, trade a pass.
Now they have a corner kick. Samba O'Neill also take offense there. And another ball swung in here, and Nations clears. Possession back to Sohini. And now they have to switch play down the right hand side, and Sohini racing, looking for a return of the ball there. He gets it. And Asiedu comes in to bounce on him. The Nations quickly take this set piece. Obviously, always looking for Emmanuel Buahin. Sohini for Nations. Back to Buahin. In the box waiting is Brandon Enkisapon as well. And this is the target for this cross. And cleverly cleared away by Hussein Zakaria. Gripman. And back again to Gripman. And he's trying to find a way to get the balls back into the part of Brandon, who's moved centrally in terms of attacking play.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing now. You just don't stick to your position there. Makes it so easy for the defense of Kotoko to deal with it. All these players are a bit mobile. And Brandon Enkisapon, one of the most threatening players for Nations FC now. Trying to pull 1 or 2 of these defenders out of position.
In terms of consistency, Desire Kotoko have been the more consistent side over the course of the season with 10 wins, 9 draw and 60 feet, 25 games played. Mention of them scoring 30 goals, now makes it 31 goal after Albert Amwa's header. So consistently, they've been doing some of the work there. The club's only conceded 16 goals. In terms of the teams in the Premier League, you look at what they've been able to do so far.
Yeah, by far, they've been a better side as well. Comparing the whole season, on the review, comparing their numbers to that on Nations FC. They came into this game 5 points, better than Nations FC. And it tells you the kind of work they've done so far, and that Kaim Zito, and then also the interim head coach, Yao Prendo. Also, it's not really been the sort of season you expect Kotoko, to undergo, but that's the reality. When you have the standard of the league rising each and every season, sometimes you just need to put in a good shift if you want to come close to winning the title.
Before the game there, Asante Kotoko's newly appointed board chairman James Brown charged the players to secure victory in this game. Now they lead by a goal to nil. At least it appears they have something going, isn't it?
Yeah, they need it at this point. You'd say mathematically the league title is still within reach, but ask yourself realistically, what are their chances of winning it? But these are the kind of games you need to win. If you really want to keep the hopes, it's a slender one, it's a slim one, but you still want to keep it alive.
Thank you, Sapo. Now finds Kwambuache. Switch play down the right. Again, another beautiful header here, but again it goes wide. Fimpo Mansu before the game did indicate that the side will give their all in this particular game. It's one of the games that you expect to see Nations FC firing from all cylinders, and here comes Hube Jehu, and he's trying to lead the attack and get the midfield going.
Yeah, history has really favoured Nations FC in this fixture. When you walk into a fixture with 3 wins and 2 draws, then certainly you'll be hoping that history will smile at you again.
Again, the partnership there with Henry Asu probably is back from injury, and especially so when you're looking at having the likes of Zakaria coming in to replace Henry Asu. He was one of the players who had a very great partnership with Samba Oneo until the injury and him being off for quite some time, and expectedly so. Chelsea's return gets a red card, and Sohini here looking for space. Brendan and Sapong looking to hit one, blocked by Samba Oneo. And here comes Albert Amoy. Somebody all alone there, nobody there to support him. Just late in arriving, is looking for some bit of runs there, and Albert Amoy walks on the ball. And finally Johnson. Back to Albert Amoy. He's trying to move on the right hand side is Kote. And Kotoko beginning to slow the tempo of the game.
It's all about the hold-up play by Albert Amoy. Does it so well at this time. Very, very limited support since he got the ball, but that's the mark of a good attacker, a good striker, and that's what he's done. Despite scoring, he's still playing a pivotal role. That's so well to hang on and invite the players into the game. I think it's getting a bit more physical now for Nations FC, and just look at that. Patrick Asiedu sandwiched in between 2 players, and Zoli there and Mashoud Abdullah.
It's the only goalkeeper among the 2 who's just picked the ball in his net. Asante Kotoko now have an opportunity to see if they can double the lead here against Nations FC. And a very busy afternoon there for Rabin Sanon. The referee trying to show that the teams gets it right. George Maoli Vomawa, the man who's currently in charge of the game, and Asiedu will want to go the left foot into the far post once again. Just a wasted set piece.
I'm wondering if that was aim to be on target, if that was supposed to beat Robinson on. You had quite a couple of red-shirted players in the box waiting for a good delivery. They could have gotten something on it. Patrick Asiedu trying to go solo with that one.
Nations. And Johnson here wins the battle, but again not able to retain possession. Asante Kotoko gets it back. Now they have another set piece opportunity. Now the referee is just reaching out to his pocket once again to have another player here, name taken is Sohini. And, yellow card, 2 players on the yellow card here. Asante Kotoko's Kote is the first player to have his name taken.
That was a rough play there. Rough play by Sohini. And leaves it late on Kote. Sometimes you wonder how such decent players, going to tackles like that. Talking about Suhini, very disciplined, on the pitch.
Again, he got his name taken, and now probably slowing his game down. Amwa is looking to see if he can run and find some bit of support. So in moments where Asante Kotoko's fans expect to see a lot of goals in such games, but it's always tight when you're up against Nations FC. You have to get the ball into the box, and yet it is Simpson who comes in, and the Asante Kotoko players are just requesting, they'll be asking the referee that that's a handball. And yet again, the referee did not really see much of that, and so it's going to be a corner kick.
Yeah, quite a controversial call there. Albert Amwa still protesting, thinking should have had a penalty kick there, but it was Johnson also with a whip into the box. Yeah, he does. Albert Amwa just coming in, but I just don't think that was enough in it. For a penalty kick, I don't think so. But it was a good delivery into the box, and you had Albert Amwa lurking right behind Zach Simpson, but I just don't see enough in it.
Corner kick taken to the far side. Goalkeeper is already out, and Asamba O'Neill hooks one in, and again it's Rabin struggling to get the ball away. Seth Kojo returns. Simpson coming out, clutching his own player, and Asante Kotoko yet again have another. Sohini has already been booked. Should be careful. To get another yellow card. And the referee would want to have some bit of a wet there with him.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to send him off. I doubt the referee, Vomo being lenient on that occasion. Well, certainly if he had wanted to, that could have been another bookable offence. Could see him clearly, not going in for the ball. Yeah, trips Emmanuel Kote. That's the point. You need to slow down a bit, in your tackles, Sweeney. Just needs to be careful. They've really had their momentum drop, and having a man sent off, I believe, would be worse for them.
Just about 4 minutes to end the half, and you have Asante Kotoko having won. They have seen a lot of a set piece advantage for them. Ball sent into the far side once again. Sambo O'Neill brings the ball back. Hamidu Akwa. Here comes Kute and losing possession. And still scoreline remains Asante Kotoko 1 Nations nil. It's about 4 minutes to end the first hour with added time.
You have Nations FC starting the game, on the front foot, creating the best chances, and it's just shocking how after conceding that goal, it looks like everything seemed to have gone a bit south for them. Creating those chances, we saw them creating the opening exchanges anymore. It looks like Kotoko gradually are warming themselves up into it.
Hamidu Akwa release on the other side, and here he comes again. Hamidu Akwa in the box. Hamidu Akwa looking for space, and Simpson here. Referee says no, not a handball. The second time Asante Kotoko are calling for a handball against Simpson, and Razak Simpson soon to be the player in that bit of a cage there. Arno and Kote again also on a yellow card. Should be careful on his tackles. And the 2 players who have been booked have had to help the referee stopping play because of some of the tackles here.
Yeah, and that's the funny part of it. Earlier on we saw Suhini on the yellow card, going in, for that reckless tackle, and this time it's Emmanuel Kote, the only player in that Kotoko shirt, also having been booked. But you talk about that handball, and I doubt the referee Vomo was going to just give it, because you had the first touch coming off the foot, of Simpson.
And a very poor play there for Nations FC as the ball was whipped in. Boahene, here comes Boache. Whips one to the far side. It's between Boahene and Boache, the right back and left full back. And this time Ndoli would have to come in here with a head up.
Yeah, we saw that delivery for Emmanuel Kote to set up Albert Amwa for the goal for Kotoko, and I think it was just top notch. Delightful cross, for Amwa to get his head on it. And since then, we've not really seen that quality of a cross. This one to Inzole, not bad, but not the best of crosses for him to, just power the ball into the net.
Combinations. Once again, the good ball into the box, and Brandon was waiting to lurk onto any ball that comes his way, but again, it's a very good play from Nations FC. Now the Steelers trying to wrap themselves into the half. Asante Kotoko have most of the players back into the own defensive line. Razak Simpson here. No. Possession taken away from him. And Hubert couldn't get away from Entry Sapong. Again is Albert Amwa charging away. Albert Amwa has got Razak Simpson. Albert Amwa trying to square one. Again, a very poor play from Albert Amwa. And Hamid Walker was just raising dip, just hitting the ball behind Hamid Walker. Meantime, on the other side is Ano, also hitting it wide.
You wonder what he was thinking there, Emmanuel Ano. I doubt he was trying to score, from that angle a bit against him, but there was Sohini just racing, approaching that ball, but there was no way that would have found him. Over that earlier ball by Albert Amwa. You see the intentions, but Johnson a bit too fast. You have both players not on the same wavelength there. And that ball eluded him.
Here comes Prince Bedu, also playing a role there in the midfield. We've got 8 for us for Kotoko and 9 to Nations, just in terms of that similar approach.
There, yeah, by both teams. You don't take it that's it's a rivalry. It's a derby, and it's so common in derbies. Even though you think this one is a bit friendly.
Well, very dangerous tackle there on the goalkeeper, and again Aziz Adari nearly put himself in a very, very, very porous situation.
He was saved by the whistle.
He was, absolutely he was.
A bit reckless there from Dari Aziz. You have Emmanuel just trying to go in hard, trying to win that ball at all costs. Yeah, but it was a clear dribble by the goalkeeper.
A ball playing goalkeeper, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. These days, as a trend, Graham, you have every top manager, demanding that for their goalkeepers, and even though you have most of these goalkeepers not really feeling comfortable about it, you need to add it to your game. It's a trend these days. You just don't go balloon the ball all the time, and we've seen a couple of times from some of these goalkeepers, but I think he managed to pull the trick. Unfortunately, that tackle from Emmanuel just sent him down.
And again, he's up for Brandon Echisapong, getting some bit of a work there with the coach, Frimpong Manso. Well, you have those enjoying the game here, are they not? Because Asante Kotoko was leading by a goal to nil for Swagging here. Zach Simpson, good gripman. The Nations going to control the game. Certainly Van Saffo looking to find Sapong. Again, does well to win back possession. Simpson tracks the ball to the left hand side, looking for the run there of Wachi. He's able to bring the ball down and a throw-in advantage with a block there from Zakaria.
Pushing for that final chance right before the halftime whistle.
Here Joe just been dragged by, and a very poor play. And the head coach of Asante Kotoko.
Come on, what's he doing on the pitch?
Absolutely, well, I don't even know.
What's he doing on the pitch? And it's quite shocking though, but he needs to be careful now. He could be sent off for that.
Already, Asante Kotoko do have the goalkeeper being punished there by the rules of the Ghana Football Association, and I'm not too sure what the plan was there, but the end of the first half being a bit traumatic there with Asante Kotoko's coach Prince Owusu just charging onto the field. I'm not too sure again what he was doing over there, but the story remains Asante Kotoko lead by goal to nil. Albert Amwa's goal there with a textbook header with a beautiful cross there from Kote. Means Asante Kotoko head to the tunnel there and coming back in the second half. At least they lead by a goal to nil at half time.
What an entertaining the first 45 minutes played here at the Baba Sports Stadium. Asante Kotoko, the home side, are leading Nations by a goal to no. Courtesy a goal from Albert Tamwa back among the goals. I've been joined by the assistant coach of Asante Kotoko, Hamza Obi. Hamza, first 45 minutes, you're leading by a goal to no. How would you describe the first 45-minute performance that you've seen?
Well, I think it's a very fantastic play on our side. Looking at the chances that we've created a lot of chances whereby we try to, find the spaces behind their backline, and which is working for us. One thing I'm expecting that we should add up another goal using the spaces breaking from their backline, whereby mostly whenever we are attacking, you see that most their centre backs push their team forward, and mostly they are in the halfway. So whenever we try to break their backline, we try to get that opportunity. And I wish inside the second half we talk to our attackers so that they can use that spaces behind them and give us another goal.
And we are leaving you to go to the dressing room and do that. Hamza Obe is the assistant coach of Asante Kotoko. I'll be joined by Boaji Da Costa, the assistant coach of Nations as well. His side is down by a goal to no. Coach, you started the better of the two sides, created chances, then you hit the woodwork without not having the goal at his mercy, and he missed. Do you think that miss actually came back to bite you?
Yeah, actually, some of the boys, they are not up to the standard. When this occurred, then they are down. If you in the first half, first 15 minutes, you see some mistakes which Kotoko should have punished us.
Yeah, now you're still firmly in the game. It's just one goal. What needs to change for you in the second half?
We need to change some things in the game because
like
it seems there's a bit of complacency in the boys.
Okay,
a bit of complacency. So if they up their game, we will equalize.
Well, let's see that if that will change in the second half. Boaji Da Costa, that he is the assistant coach of Nations FC, there getting into the dressing room. He says that they need to change because there's a bit of complacency on the part of the boys. But they are down by a goal to nil here against Asante Kotoko. My name is Mutale Akubu. We'll take a quick breather. When I return, Jeffrey Asari will join me for the first half analysis.
sense. Everyday prices.
By the two teams is incredible. It is Asante Kotoko Nations FC who are playing in match day 26 of the Ghana Premier League, and the Porcupines are ahead. Albert Samoa putting them through just when Nations FC had an opportunity to score and blew that one away. Kotoko went on to score. Emmanuel Kote is back with an assist for Asante Kotoko. My name is Mutala Yakubu. You're watching TV3 and on your TV. Jeffrey Asari here with us. End-to-end action. Nations should have scored, blew their chance. Kotoko took the advantage.
Very interesting encounter, very fascinating game. You saw Asante Kotoko show the intent and purpose. So Peter Midwakwa, you saw Peter Midwakwa pass to Abertama. Unfortunately, Johnson also couldn't land onto it. Then Peter Midwakwa again had opportunity, but this time goalkeeper Rabin Osman was able to punch it to corner kick. Then now you saw Evans Safo, entry Sapon. Then the ball came to Frederick Kinzoli. Wonderful strike, hit the crossbar. Unfortunately for Mafu, you expect that Emmanuel Ano should be able to bury the rebound with his quality. The last two games against Levin Wonders against Bechenbi scoring, but unfortunately he couldn't do that. Then Peter Midwakwa fan Johnson Owusu, unfortunately he also feel you expect that such strikers should be scoring such glorious opportunities that come their way. Then the moment came for a wonderful strike for Kote, the precision and then the accuracy met Albert Amwa, who eluded Razak Simpson and then put the ball. But the question was that goalkeeper Rabin had no business coming out. If you're a goalkeeper, you must time your judgment. If you are coming out, you must come out to make sure that you are making a certain impact. Unfortunately, he did not get the judgment right. He came out, he was beating the balls in the net. And you could see that Asante Kotoko have been able to have good link-up play between Johnson Owusu, Peter Midwakwa, and Albert Amwa. Very brilliantly and consistently. Unfortunately, it's the clinical finish that has not been the best. But having said that, it's been interesting so far.
Now let's look at the goal again from Emmanuel Kote. Before he got injured, he was putting in those crosses for Asante Kotoko. It's very good when it comes to putting the ball in the box, and that cross is every striker's dream, right on top of your head, and you just needed to guide it into the post. And Albert Samoa again showing his quality for Asante Kotoko.
That is why he's back. That is what the supporters have been yearning for. That is why he's always the one that every Kotoko fan expect. So far as he's in the team, when they want to go, he has a way of getting it. Now you need excellent cross to make it easy for his movement and his ability to clinically finish it. That is exactly what is that. Kote is an expert when it comes to the crosses with precision and accuracy and power, and he made sure the cross came out, so it was easier for him to attack, and that brought a difficulty to Razak Sim. Defenders normally don't like deep line crosses. They don't like that because it gives them an opportunity to struggle as to how to cope with it and how to position their body for that. But I mean, Albert Ama, beautiful header, and that was, and also because the judgment from goalkeeper Rabin made it a bit easier for him to get the ball at the back. But at the end of the day, what is important is that he was able to get the ball at the back of the net.
Of course, now it's not all doom and gloom for Nations FC. Even though they are down by a goal, they are still very much in the game. They've controlled portions of that first half, especially when the midfield two of Safo and Inzole come to the party. But Hubejewu has been brilliant in this game, together with the likes of Seth Kwajo.
He's been brilliant, and even Prince Bedu have been nicking the tackles in midfield. You understand me? You realize that Suleiman has.
How come he doesn't get enough, or he doesn't get enough cards? Because he's a bit feisty, and he can be sometimes be ragged, but he does that tackles very clearly. He makes sure he goes for the ball, even if he applies maximum force.
He has great anticipation. He's intelligent, and also the tackles are spot on. Sometimes some are a bit too aggressive, but it's all part of the game. He get it right. For me, the midfield of Kotoko, Hubejewu has been brilliant. Seth Kwajo, very tight, making sure that he's getting a second ball. And then Prince Bedu making sure that he's tidying up the tackles that needed to be done. He's always at the right place at the right time. Great anticipation, body position, awareness, making it difficult. So you realize that today they are losing. I mean, Joseph Efa, they are missing Joseph Efa. You understand? Because that is where he's good at. His ability to be quick, intelligent, pick the ball, pass. So he looked out for entry. He looked for Ivan Safo. But today, Suleiman is not really being able to play that role very well. That is the problem. And also the nation seem to be making losing balls cheaply in midfield. Something
that
especially in that they are not comfortable doing in previous game.
But I've seen Frimpong Manso coming out. Do you think he has enough Arsenal on the bench or enough tactical acumen, if I can use that, to change the complexity of the game? As it stands, they are losing by a goal to nil. There's Richard Dance, who is warming up, scored in their last game against Bechem United. He's a player that you can call on.
He's a quality player, but even the first team, what they need to do is just to be clinical. They've created chance, the lack of clinical. When they are clinical, they will be able to get something out of it.
Of course, now someone else is crossing our camera. He's a bit lost. He's crossing our camera and he's apologizing. But Kotoko are leading by a goal to nil, and Nations FC will be pushing for that equalizer. So I hand you back over to our team of commentators, Benjamin Willie Graham and Josiah Okokwe. See you after the second half.
Preserving Ghana's natural environment and the health.
Another 45 minutes await us here at the Babaya Stadium, match day 26. Asante Kotoko, Nations FC already. The Porcupine Warriors lead by goal to nil. Goal scored there by Albert Amwa. Now they have to come in here with a referee in charge of the game, George Maoli Vumao. He's given 2 yellow cards already to 2 players, one from Asante Kotoko and Nations FC. Of course, Imano Kote and Sohini of Nations FC. 2 players booked, and now second half. And it's going to be Nations FC setting the tone for us to see exactly how the response will be. They have had one of the most exciting first half, at least had the sad post coming to their rescue. Asante Kotoko took out of the game and had to find a way to get the goals there. But it's yet another grueling second half awaiting us at the Babara Stadium, and Nations FC, who definitely are looking to change things.
It will certainly be a cagey one in the first half. We saw quite a number of chances being created. But you had both teams just fluffing it until Albert Amwa, headed Kotoko into the lead, and I expect Nations FC to come at them in the second half. They created some good chances in the first half. Unfortunately, Manuel Auno just couldn't bury any of the chances they created, and you're thinking that certainly they'll give Kumasi Asante Kotoko a run for their money.
And the goalkeeper was just deputizing there for Mohamed Kamara, Dari Haruna. The only time he was actually threatening was the strike from Ndoli, just graced the side post. And here comes Brandon into Sapong. In time, Asante Kotoko want to have that possession. Dari hit the ball back in again, trying to get the attackers. And Gripman with a header here. Itamidu Akwa. It's been a little bit conspicuously missing, and again, here comes Sohini. He's trying to be the man, protecting and holding up the ball here. Sohini again finds himself in a very good position and is able to locate his players with some exciting passes. Look at Gripman. No. Asante Kotoko. We want to see exactly how nations want to respond. Dolly on the right hand side, looking for another ball. Goalkeeper already committed. It's a handball in terms of the control.
I think it is. Trying to bring that one down. Almost hitting it on the half volley. And that was Mashoud Abdullah. But I was boying with a cross into the box. Yeah, it was a decent one. A lovely one again being dealt with. by Zakaria, and just look at that. Oh, I just don't think it was. But a no protest as well from Abdullah Bashoud, but that doesn't come off the arm.
10 times they started the game the first half. They had the opportunity of keeping the ball neat and simple around themselves. Nations FC really have a win in away matches this season in the league. After 12 outings away this season, Nations FC accumulated only 5 points on the road, scoring 6 and conceding 15 away from home. Itami Duaka for Kotoko. Finds Hubert Jehu. Back to Amidu Alka, back to Hubert Jehu again. And Albert Tamwa should have let the ball there for Johnson, but he had to control the ball already in an offside position.
I think Flat had already gone up. Amwa just failing to make the run. He's trying to stay onside. No, that ball wasn't meant for him.
On the other side is going to be Arnaud, dropping the ball back again. Nations FC once again not really going to have a siesta at all. They just want to make sure that they pass some of the pressure on Asante Kotoko. Here comes Lukman and finds space in midfield. Boss switching to the left hand side, looking for Kwambuache. Another ball into the box now. Arnaud looking to head the ball down. Trying to advertise push there to the referee.
I don't think there was enough in it, but he did that so well, to leap highest to get that one. He was in between Samba and then also Patrick Asido. Just look at that. Get headset onto the turf. That's well there. I don't think there was any contact there. No one impede him. Those are the kind of deliveries he would always want to feed off. He's not really had a handful of that. It's barring that big chance that fell to him in the first half. I think that the defense of Kotoko have really done a good job at keeping him at the bay.
Zakaria, the final touch on the ball, so definitely losing possession. So trying to come in here to see exactly what the plan will be there for Nations FC in the game. Zach Simpson. Kotoko is at time trying to find out Albert Amwan this time. He just have to find Johnson. Again, he's trying to cutting the runs of Seth Kojo. Sohini again, and Johnson coming back to Kote.
He's been quite productive in this game, Johnson. Playing off the shoulders of the defenders, a bit wide sometimes, cutting in from the left hand side onto the right foot, just like he did, and nearly treading one onto the path of Seth Kojo. He just needs to be a bit more sharp. That's where he's lacking now. His runs has been excellent.
Here comes Kwambuache for Nations FC. Trying to get his men into very good position, and the flag is eventually up here. Well, in terms of places and the number of points away picked up by Nations FC. And we have Nations trying to make sure that they get themselves really yards offside. Kwambuache. Again, after securing an MTN FA Cup semi-final bet, coach before Monsoon is trying to make sure he gets things right there. Albert Amwa here, the best of control on the chest. Nations haven't lost to Kotoko in their last 5 matches, 3 wins for them, and so they might be looking to seeing how this game will pan out. To sure they want to lower their guard over their seamless performance against Asante Kotoko. Here comes Arnaud. Brandon and Chisapon trying to cut one to Arnaud. A little bit of a push down Emmanuel Kote. Arnaud.
It was a good one too. The Emmanuel Arnaud and Brandon Inchisapon who had drifted a bit more central, but I wasn't expecting Inchisapon to hit that one onto the path of Arnaud, especially without grip there. Definitely you knew Kote was going to get an end of it. Just look at that. was a bit late, a bit overhit for me. The tussle on the ground there, ongoing.
Lovely against Safo. And to the rescue by Zakaria. And here comes Asante Kotoko. Amidu Akwa finds space, looking for his man, Albert Tamwa. Meantime, Kotoko do have Sejiu. So able to retain possession for the Porcupine Warriors. Trying to ping the balls very fast. Here comes Johnson. And the best of pass there for Peru. And here comes Zakaria, and definitely going to be a yellow card offense.
Now the worst thing is that they keep playing themselves into trouble, Kumasi and Kotoko. These are chances. You should be advancing the ball instead of losing it in that dangerous area. That's Prince Bedu, losing that ball, and certainly Manuel Ano will punish you. He's got a pace, he's got everything there. He's a good dribbler as well, despite the fact that he plays as a number 9 for them. Whenever he drops deeper, you expect him to carry the ball very well, and at that point there was no other option for Zakaria Fusini than to foul him.
And no, once again, he's trying to wriggle his way away, and Asante Kotoko do have a player down. Extension of the arm there against Kotoko's right full back. Emmanuel Cote right in pain there, trying to signal to the referee that well, Scotty just in there. And so this foul
on Prince Bedu, rather, yeah.
Prince Bedu, yeah.
And it was Brandon Noenchi again. Does he extend the arm? Yeah, he does, but I don't think it catches him on the face. As opposed to the reaction on the turf for me, I just think he's been a bit overly dramatic there.
You talk about Arnaud here, and he's in the scoring form of his own. 9 goals for Nations FC this season, scoring 2 goals away this season in the Premier League with Faiza Chawete and Joseph Ifa, all in 2 goals each, and confirmation of the yellow card there to Zakaria.
And now they've got Emmanuel Cote, the right back, and then also one of the centre backs on yellow cards, and that's where you always need to be careful, though. You have Nations FC also with one of the most explosive attackers, in Emmanuel Anon. You're wondering how they could really make good use of the disadvantage to Kotoko. You have Zakaria and then also Kote on yellow cards.
Ano. Amidu Akwa can give it a chance, but they couldn't pick the ball here. The Nations have scored 7 goals and have only conceded 3 to Kotoko in the last 5 meetings. And they've kept 9 clean sheets in the Premier League this season, Nations FC. Possession here to the visitors. Banahene Opuahin finds his ball into the box, and a little bit of a push there. And Asante Kotoko's Samba O'Neill. And Samba O'Neill, I'll tell you what, is the top scorer this season with 5 goals in the league for Asante Kotoko.
Well, that's a foul again. He's so focused, has his eyes on the ball. I think he catches a trailing leg, yeah. He does, Emmanuel Ano. Of course, Samba just heads that one clear. But the trailing leg just making contact with, the foot of Emmanuel Ano. You talk about the fact that he's been their best player this season. Yeah, it is arguable, Graham, but you take nothing away from Samba O'Neill, top scorer this season, the most important player in defense for them, and sometimes even playing as a holding midfielder. And regardless where you fix him on the pitch, he gets the job done 101%, and that's why it would really be a huge loss if Kotoko should lose him this season or next season.
But Nations also trying to come in here to see exactly what they can. Soini has had the opportunity of coming up to do something. Miruagwa always trying to control things. And Hubert Joe. Lovely pass now to Seth Kojo. Kotoko now trying to be a little bit busy in midfield. Possession to Patrick Asiedu. Samba O'Neill back to Jehu. It's all about how Kotoko wants to keep things and want to move, and flag is up here against Amwa. And again, how they ping the ball and how they try to play some intricate weaving patterns. Asante Kotoko nearly found a very good opportunity for a second here, but the flag had already gone up.
And he wasn't going to miss if that flag hadn't gone up. Certainly about half a yard offside there. Albert Amwa again lacking and trying to find the open spaces, which he does brilliantly, but I think the flag goes up. He fails to stay onside, and they just need to keep a sharp eye on him. They could punch you at any point.
Brandon Ejisapong. And again, it's Nations FC who are at the moment holding on to possession, looking for that huge space behind the back line, and that is what Asante Kotoko not able to do that. And here they come again with possession. Nations, Abdullah Mashoud, and now you're going to have Nations looking for an opening. And the best of deliveries by Emmanuel Guahin Johnson here, trying to catch Mashoud with a bit of peace, and he's got a lot of fans urging him on. Mashoud trying to come in, and Johnson, I'm not too sure if he's looking for a corner kick.
It wasn't so clear what he was looking for. Had a strength, to just fend off that challenge for a while for Abdullah Mashoud, but again, not decisive enough when it mattered most.
Well, again, he still have opportunities to see what exactly is going to happen in the game here. But Asante Kotoko only once at home this season. They've lost only once at home, and again, you see the runs of Arnaud.
A bit side there, very, very close. I think he was coming from an onside position there. Emmanuel Arnaud.
And again, you still have the players who are warming themselves up, and so only once Asante Kotoko this season have lost at home, winning 6 and drawing 5 in the games in 12 home matches played so far. They've been able to score 21 goals and concede just 7 at home. They've not really been too impressive in the last 5 meetings, winning just 1 with 3 defeats and a draw. And that's had to do with the change of the technical setup there with Coach Zito leaving and a new coach coming in and trying to redo most of the things, or perhaps bringing a new tactical eye into how Kotoko plays. But it's a Sunday, and the Nations obviously got some beautiful friends and fans to watch the game.
Yeah, certainly. It's 40 minutes drive away from Kumasi, so certainly they would like to come in their numbers. And for a side that's on a pretty much impressive run, you'd always expect that the team or the fans to rally behind them. It's always been good for them whenever they've come up against Kotoko. Again, Kote, that's Prince Bedu using his arm illegally there.
I'll tell you what, the defeat there to Karela was one of the disappointing displays there by Asante Kotoko when the fans were looking to see how best they can charge forward. And again, that wasn't what they wanted to do, said Kojo here. Ibe Jehu. Session play to the right. Asante Kotoko back with possession. Still there the players in. Asiedu, Patrick. And again, being dragged from behind there. Asante Kotoko, a lot of players looking to move, and Nations once again winning back possession in midfield. Kotoko really scrambling to maintain momentum. Samba O'Neill and Zakaria doing pretty much quiet in the defensive area. Asante Kotoko once again gives the ball away, and it's been very, very disappointing for Kotoko when they have possession. They are not able to locate the forwards and just gets the ball away to the position. And once again, piling some of the pressure on them.
Yeah, it's not being the sort of attacking display you'd want to see from Kumasi Asante Kotoko. They started the game on the back foot until that goal from Albert Amwa, then everything changed for them. They had the momentum on their side. Then the second half, it's not really been pretty decent up front. struggles sometimes to string the passes together when transition hasn't been as sharp as it was towards the end of the first half.
Johnson. Again, another crowded ball into the box there. Meanwhile, Albert Samoa unable to get to the ball, and he apologized immediately. In time, it's going to be another run here. And just been telling you about Asante Kotoko when they do have to defend the lines and have to come in and clutch in on players. The referee really been a bit lenient there, not to have shown a card there, but there's got to be a change by Asante Kotoko with the introduction. With the exit of Seth Kojo. And here comes Babayaya, the playmaker. And Adam Inusa is also going to get the opportunity to come in, and Johnson is also going to go out.
And these are key substitutions now. You have Seth Kojo not really playing a huge part in this game. He's really been, to some extent, a spectator throughout the game. We've not really seen how good he is, and for Johnson Opong, he's been busy down the lines, making runs into the channel, and but having Inusa who can play on either side of the flanks, and then also Babaya, a playmaker. You're talking about the problems of not really being so good up front. Then with these two changes, certainly a lot could happen, a lot could change up front for them.
Stretching from last season, Asante Kotoko have only lost twice in the last 21 home matches. Yeah, it tells you how strong they have been at home since last season. Again, it hasn't really been the performance the season has brought to them. Last time Asante Kotoko lost this season, really. It was an interesting game against Hartlepool. Lost by a goal to nil. Here comes Adam Inusa. He's got a very sweet left foot, Adam Inusa. Here comes Babayaya, two entrants now trying to combine here. What an interesting bit about Asante Kotoko this season really has to do with the fact that they have not won any of their last 3 home matches. Competition lost to Hartlepool and a draw with Vision and the GNPC in the MTN FA Cup. On penalties they lost. And only keeping 15 clean sheets in the season. We did the Hartlepool game yesterday where Hartlepool have had 20 clean sheets, with 12 of those being a change here for Nations FC as well. Sohini is out for Ayite Ayikwe.
I think one of the biggest problems this season has been the home dominance, where, despite the fact that they've lost just twice here at home, once in the FA Cup against Gianna, the other in the league, against Hartlepool.
Good chance now, and again, it has been collected beautifully by goalkeeper Aziz Tahari Haruna. I was talking about a clean sheet, the 12th clean sheet there for Benjamin Asari. 20 clean sheet for Hartlepool.
I think that's the most in the division, though. No team bests that. No team has that quality in defense. That defensive organization by Hartlepool.
Kotoko now have to defend the lines, and quickly Samba O'Neill will have to pick it up for the Porcupine Warriors, and clearly have to get the ball away. Hasn't been that solid at the back, Asante Kotoko. And Nations have been in control, total control this time. Buahin finds Simpson, but well collected by Asante Kotoko. Again, a long ball forward, looking to pick up the round of Albert Amwa. He's able to pick the ball here. He does so, and cleverly wins possession there for Asante Kotoko. Nobody there centrally to pick the ball here, and then he has to lose it out.
Just not the best of passes there. Does well to hang on, does well to win that ball. But in the game, that pass to tee up his opponent a bit. They had too much power in it, you should ask me. And it's all about being coherent and consistent up front. That's one thing Kotoko has failed to do. That moment of brilliance, where the goal came. Just had two players combining effectively for that goal. It was a moment of quality, and since then we've not really seen anything like that.
Midfield wins a free kick there for Asante Kotoko, and it still has to do with how the Porcupine Warriors are able to take advantage. The set pieces, really, they have not been able to do a lot with it, and Peter Midfield was the man who was brought down. Asante Kotoko's Mohamed Kamara, who's not part of this game, has accumulated a total of 12 clean sheets, same as Benjamin Asari of Accra Hearts of Oak. And now set piece here for Asante Kotoko, ball whipped into the far post there, and it's been repelled at Kote here for Asante Kotoko. Back with possession. Again, he's got to deal with it. Midfield has got 3 players on him, and he has to lose possession to Boahin. And Asante Kotoko again would have to commit to yet another foul to stop Boahin from just moving forward with the ball. As Nations FC once again trying to rebuild from the back. Ano finds Boahin on the right, swings the ball in. Goalkeeper has already committed. Samba there comes out with a clearance. Not the best though, but Nations FC looking to hit one. And Kwam Boache gives the ball away. And Dolly here strikes and picked up by goalkeeper Adari Aziz Haruna.
And not a bad effort from Nzoli from a distance. Yeah, they're not right at the edge of the penalty box. Just calling for that one. No one marking him. He had enough space to whip that one in. Just look at that. Centrally a bit. And Nzoli, I don't think that was the best option he should have gone for. Yeah, it was a good hit. Took a touch off the Kotoko player. And again, that's not beating Aziz Dari.
And again, another card is going to be out here. Asante Kotoko and the Oko Gripman. The centre back has been booked. I tell you what, Asante Kotoko centre back is the carry on a yellow card, and Oko Gripman here. And that's the incident which led to the card. And that is a. That's very cynical there from Oko Gripman.
It's naughty, and I was thinking he could have been sent off. Looking at the reaction there, it was a bit, off the ball there. That was totally needless. That was just a bit, excuse my language, stupid there. By Gripman. Shouldn't be doing that. It's so unsportsmanlike. From a player of his caliber with all his experience, he shouldn't be doing that. Should really count himself fortunate to stay on the pitch, and that's what you're thinking. What would have the VAR done? What would have VAR said about this? And he was a bit lucky, Graham. I think he was a bit lucky. There's a career-threatening, tackle there or whatever it was.
When you do have fouls in very naughty areas of the human body, obviously, you know that sometimes it takes a lot from the referees or match officials to then go back and look at the intention or the intent of the player. Was it deliberate, or it was a case of an unintentional foul sometimes, but it's not looking good there. But lucky to have a yellow card.
Yeah, he was. I think he knew what he was doing. He knew rightly what he was trying to do.
And this time he's been well collected by the goalkeeper, Usman Sanon. Another ball forward here. There's obviously going to be another situation for Ayikwe to pick it up. The players looking forward to get something out of the game with 18 minutes of the clock left there for Asante Kotoko to hold on to the very first win against Nations. Cooling break here, but so far 18 minutes to go. What's been your intention, or perhaps your observation of Asante Kotoko and Nations FC, where the Porcupine Warriors have failed to beat Nations FC in the last 5 meetings? It appears that they may have the opportunity, but they've got about 18 minutes or more to hold on to the slender lead.
Yeah, certainly. Kotoko in this game, especially at home, they've not really fared well. in their last 2 games in this particular fixture. They've lost both and they are yet to score at home. So that goal from Albert was certainly, could give them a lot of boost. But just look at that again. Very nasty and naughty there by Gripman, who was still on the pitch, which is quite surprising to know. But I think Kotoko themselves, they've struggled to find grip in the attacking third. They've really, really struggled, with all those line-breaking passes not really going through. I think that moment of brilliance, that moment of quality was the moment in the first half where Kote sent in that lovely delivery for Albert Amwa to just not home the first goal. And you question also the position of Rabin Sanon at that point. But I think since then it's been even though Kotoko find themselves in the lead. I think Nations FC themselves have built up pretty decently heading into the attacking third. But again, you're waiting, or you always look up to that moment of brilliance where one quality ball, one quality finish, and then you have the equalizer. I think that goal for Kotoko will be huge for them. First goal ever at home in this fixture would mean a lot, and if they can hang on until full time, I think that would allow them to go past Hartlepool. But just look at that again. Rabin, he had committed already in no man's land. It's just two things. It's either you're coming out to have a save or just a swipe at it, or you're not at all. And just look at that. Your positioning always will let you down. And at that point, I think Rabin Sanon would be at fault for that one. But you take nothing away from the combination Emmanuel Kote and then also Albert Amwa combining for that sweet goal.
We're back to start the game here. And one of the things that really happened, and it's been working for Asante Kotoko this season. Well, they've had 4 penalties this season. Asante Kotoko, 3rd best in the league with Samba Oneo and Morphin Donsu converting all in the league. And I tell you what, Josiah, interim coach Prince Owusu is now still searching for his very first win at home after 3 outings.
Yeah, and you always think, that there's still pressure on his shoulders. There's so much weight on his shoulders, even though he's an interim coach. But you just don't go 3 games without picking up a home win for Kotoko. That's just not good enough. And that's why you'd be thinking they would have to put everything. They would have to double their efforts for the remainder of this game if they would want to pick up their very first win.
O'Neill. A little bit of a notch there, but advantage given. Amid Walcott turns beautifully. And Albert Amwa once again and Gripman on each other. Although there's just been 1 game between the two sides that they played goalless, between Kotoko and Nations FC. Ball taken into the box once again. It's Gripman having the best of Gripman, and comes Babayaya. Ow! And good save there from the goalkeeper, Sanon. Nobody hitting the ball there, Brandon. Andrew Sapong also finds space. It's Sanon. And still Asante Kotoko leading by a goal to nil against Nations FC. Kotoko back with possession. Inusa Ada on the left foot now. Trying to go around his man. Inusa Ada once again is charging forward. And Amwa just waiting centrally for a pass now. Swears one and finds Hubert Jehu. And Jehu finds Albert Amwa. Here comes Amidu Akwa. Just looking for some bit of a run there. And passing. Hubert Jehu's got some bit of good balls. And Asiedu goes to ground. And the referee have none of that.
The penalty appeals already ongoing, but that was a good ball. It was just threaded through, and now you have Patrick Asiedu making the overlapping run and to get at the end of it. And he knows that there was contact, but it was a bit minimal. I don't think there was so much for referee Vomo to have awarded a penalty. Well, again, that was a lovely ball from Jehu, and just look at the run of Asiedu, a bit from deep there, just tricks that one through. Boyne does well to get in front, but I don't think he trips him, which is a clean challenge.
And again, when it comes to the calls there for a penalty, I just mentioned to you that Asante Kotoko really have had 4 penalties and all converted by Samba Oneo in the Premier League this season, and Morphin Donsu. And so it's been that Kwambuachi now for Nations on the left-hand side and looking to whip one into the box, looking for Ayukwe. Zach Simpson. Here comes Ano. And down Asante Kotoko without to defend this one there from Abdullah Mashoud. Tracking the ball to the right and squares one to Boahin. Nations still looking for that opening there defensively. Allowing Kotoko to crack in. Mashoud's ball into the box once again. And Ayukwe here controls beautifully Kwambuachi. And trying to hit one, looking for a handball call. But Ayukwe will help it. And goalkeeper just not able to hold it for the first time. Comes back with it again. Ayukwe, the substitute, pretty much busy in the 12-yard box there for Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, they're getting close. A couple of touches in the Kotoko penalty area. That's just good sign of how potent they've been in attack. But again, that ball coming off the arm, the Kotoko player, and no calls at all. I think it was a good hit from Ayukwe, but again, Dari just making himself so big to deal with that one.
Joe Dings one to Peter Midwakwa. Beautiful control, but a very, very poor final execution. That should have been the second goal for Kotoko.
I think that should have been the icing on the cake. That should have been the cushion, for them. There was no way he should be missing that. Again, the combination. Look at Jew's pass over the top of Razak Simpson, and lovely chest control there. Again, finishing. Not going wrong for Amid Wakwa. And I think as a player, that's been his bane, for some time now. That's so well to get into certain key areas, but finishing always problematic for Peter Amid Wakwa. And that's one of the chances I'd see. You talk about big chances in the game, Graham. It was a big chance. Should have buried. Just had a goalkeeper at his mercy. You have options. You could just go low. You could just pick your spot, but. That finishing, trying to finesse that one into the right top corner, just letting him down.
I tell you what, that should have been it. That should have been it for Peter Amiduaka. He's done almost everything right perfectly, but execution just letting him down, and should have been a worrying situation there for Pimpon Manso. With 10 minutes to go, there's a lot to play for in this game there for Nations FC. They need to get the equalizing goal. They have maintained your 100% record there with Kotoko in terms of not losing to the Porcupine Warriors, and all of that matches played. And Prince was just waiting for his very, very first win at home as an interim coach for Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, at this point, waiting becomes so difficult. 10 minutes of play plus added on time feels like more than days for you. And
again, it's a Kwambuachi here for Nations. Kwambuachi looking for Zoli. And here comes Brandon and Chisapo. Kwambuachi calling for the ball. Gets into the box and squares one in. And Asante Kotoko escaping from that onslaught. Amid Walker once again. There you have him. Taking the ball up front. The goalkeeper, Osman, comes out to win. Same things there for Nations. Just 9 minutes to go. For Zach Simpson trying to urge his men forward. Comes Zoli here for Nations FC. Entry Sapon wins possession, gets the upper body strength, and Entry Sapon tearing away. Asante Kotoko back again, defending the lines gallantly. Nations with Kwambuachi. Kwambuachi again, not the best of control. Again, Asante Kotoko. Patrick Asiedu. Oh, the ball tangling just in between his feet there, but somebody sorted himself out. In all sort of trouble, Asante Kotoko. And here comes Nations looking for an equalizing goal, but the Kotoko clearly moving forward now. They have to now find a way to put pressure on Nations, and it is going to be yet again a very poor play there between Amidu Akwa and Albert Amwa.
Yeah, but fortunately for him, he wins himself a free kick that gave the ball away for a moment. But I think referee Vomo just had to play the advantage for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Again, there's so much pressure now on Kotoko. You look at the way they're attacking Nations FC, throwing more men forward.
Now going to be Richard Danso is coming in for Evans. Suffolk. And the second half is been pretty much quiet, isn't it?
I think he has.
Make 3 substitutions there. And now Peter Kashi also coming in. And also being put out is Entry Sapon. We also do have Substitutions coming in as well for Nations. Abdullah Mashour and Kelvin Ampofo is also being given a chance to come in. Zakaria with the control. Asiru. Not the best of call there for the referee for his effort. Asante Kotoko might be making some double substitution. Midwalker is being withdrawn for Morphine Donsu. And that's the decision. We do have Asante Kotoko also trying to introduce Yakubu Dogo into the game. I said Albert Amwa is equally out of the game as well after scoring the goal. Gets applauded from the fans.
Well, you're thinking with just 6 minutes and plus some added on time to be played, and throwing in 2 attackers by.
Here comes Morphine Donsu's first attempt in the 18-yard box. Dogo is waiting for the ball. Not the best of control. Kotoko just have a player down. Referee now whistles what is a penalty for Asante Kotoko. Baba Yaya is the man who has just been brought down. I just did mention to you that Kotoko have won 4 penalties this season. 3rd best in the league this season, with Samba O'Neill and Morphine Donsu all converting for Asante Kotoko. And this might be their 5th penalty this season. And yet again, Morphine Donsu has just been brought on.
Yeah, it's a huge call. It's a huge call. And they have 2 of their best takers on the pitch now. But just look at that. The hold-up play from Morphine Donsu again. And that was the ball, yeah. And no attempt to win the ball there at that point. And I think it was a bit reckless there. A bit sloppy there. But it was a heavy touch from Dogo, and you could see Ampofo just catching his marker there cleanly. And I think that was just the right call. But it all started with that hold-up play by Morphine Donsu. That touch there. It was a bit awkward by Dogo, but I think that was just a penalty. Graham.
The man who's going to convert, Samba O'Neill, at the moment is the top scorer for Asante Kotoko this season with 5 goals. Is he ready to make it the 6th for the season? And Samba O'Neill is the man to see if he can have his 6th goal for Asante. Samba O'Neill! 6 goals this season for the centre-back. And Asante Kotoko may appear to be home and dry now with a 2nd goal. And the fans can afford to jubilate. And maybe this might signal the return of the Porcupine Tertiary and the young Porcupines to celebrate with them.
Yeah, certainly. It was a well-deserved goal. And for a moment, I was questioning the decision by Prince Owusu to throw on 2 attackers when you have a 1-0 lead in a fixture you've never won before. But I think it paid off just seconds later. But what about that, for a finish by Samba O'Neill? And you talk about experts from 12 yards, you certainly can count on him. Just a bit up there, yeah, and no chance at all for Rabin Sanon. And in a fixture where Kotoko has never scored at home, scoring 2 and keeping a clean sheet at this point will be crucial for the remaining games. But that was an expertly taken penalty kick from Samba O'Neill.
And a centre-back really carrying Asante Kotoko pretty much high this season in terms of the Premier League performance. And this is where Kotoko would appear that for the very first time, and they may have opportunity to see if they can see off Nations FC, picking their very first win against the closest neighbors or perhaps rivals. There's about 3 minutes to go there, so we're looking to see how Asante Kotoko can also find themselves better. Well, a win here for Asante Kotoko means that they move up unpaired with 42 points. And Boku move fourth as well. And so there's going to be a very interesting display there in terms of the games played this season and how other fixtures there. Brecum Chelsea leading Kaila by 2-0. And Bechem United also leading Adriana by 2-1. And Dreams FC also leading Midiama by 2-1. Pro Stars and Vision FC goalless. And Basaka Holy Stars leading Young Apostles by 1-0. And again, there's another pull back here. And I tell you what, Oko Gripman.
I think that was Brian. Yeah, with a pull there, it was Brian certainly. And a moment ago, he was giving away a penalty.
Yes.
Now he goes into the books of referee Vomo.
Yeah, I tell you. So it's 2-1 Bechem United against Adriana Stars, and 2-1 Dreams against Midiama. 2-0 Asante Kotoko against Nations, and this time Kotoko looking forward. The flag had already gone up. And I'm just trying to give you the pattern of the scorelines here. And Brecum Chelsea 2, Karela 0.
Yeah, quite a couple of home teams like scoring 2 goals today.
Yeah.
You have home dominant.
The only team with a single goal there is Basaka Holy Stars there.
Yeah, I think the
and
Stars.
Those Stars also not able to score.
Yeah, but a chunk of the teams, scoring twice in their home games. And certainly that game at the Tuba Turf could have a huge say as far as a title conversation is concerned, where Dreams 2-1 up.
Again, opportunity. Now, Morfin Donsu goes on the goalkeeper. Morfin Donsu goes to ground. What the referee says, what? have lost to Asante Kotoko, and they lost so with heavy defeat. 3-0 it was. 2 penalties there for Asante Kotoko. 1 converted by Samba O'Neill, increasing his goal tally to 6. And again, another 1 converted by Morphine Donsu as well. And so it was going to be Asante Kotoko's very first home win. And the new coach, Prince Owusu. But the story remains, the Porcupine Warriors find themselves sitting sailed on the Premier League log with this emphatic win against Nations FC.
Yeah, they had to. They're still in the title race. The title conversation will continue right after this victory, and that's why they needed it. Their last 5 meetings against their city neighbours hasn't really gone their way. The first time they're picking up a win, the first time they scored here, and they just had to do it emphatically. 3-0. It is a statement win. That Kotoko is still in the title conversation, and it's a big win for the interim head coach Prince Owusu.
I'll tell you what, Gold Stars with a win at home means that they move up on the Premier League table, 48 points, 2 points above second place. Mijema AC and Emmanuel Kote was the man of the match there. Asante Kotoko now third with 42 points, same point with Hearts of Folk, and Adriana Stars sit fifth with 41, and Summertech 6th there with 36. But I tell you what, the bottom half of the table, you do have a lot of talking point with Hull United, 11 Wonders, Young Apostles, and of course Brecum Chelsea there. But it finished here in Kumasi. Asante Kotoko 3, Nations FC 0.
So it ended in joy for the Porcupines because they've put in 3 past Nations FC. This is Kotoko's first ever win over Nations FC in the Ghana Premier League since they were promoted some 3 seasons ago. So Kotoko finally, after 4 attempts, have a victory against Nations FC. Now I'm here with the head coach of Nations FC, Frimpong Manso. Coach, in the end, your team lost. Sorry about that. But do you think the scoreline is a true reflection of what you saw?
No, not at all. If you look at the goals we conceded, they are all goals that can be avoided. The last, I think, 10 minutes, I mean, we were just giving up balls, and then they were just giving us the counter-attack. No, for me, I think we make a lot of mistakes, especially in the last 10 minutes. That was why we conceded the 3 goals. Other than that, I don't think it's a true reflection of the game.
Now they say football is defined by fine margins. Just right after missing that opportunity from Emmanuel or Kotoko scored, do you think that was the turning point in the game?
Yeah. If we had taken the chance or our chances, maybe it would have been a different thing. But sometimes football, it happens, so you cannot blame players so much. So yes, we accept defeat. And,
well, after 3 games defeat on the road, what needs to change about the team going into match day 27?
Yeah, we'll look at the mistakes and then we try to move forward. Yeah.
Well, Frimpong Manso is the head coach of Nations FC. He's a Ghana Premier League winner, by the way, with BBNE Gold Stars. And thanks for your time, Frimpong. We'll be joined by the head coach of Asante Kotoko, Prince Yao Owusu, as well. And he'll be telling us how he masterminded this win for the Porcupine Warriors. After 4 attempts of not being able to beat Nations FC, finally, Asante Kotoko. I know he was partying back there, but he's here, Coach Prince Yao Owusu. First of all, congratulations to you for winning this one. How would you sum up the performance of the boys today?
Yeah, I think the boys gave it all out. As you asked me before the game, and I told you that we cannot lose this game, we cannot draw this game. It must be a win to make the fans also happy. And now, the boys did exactly that.
Of course, 3 goals in the bag for you against a team that you've never beaten before. How does that feel?
Yeah, it tells me about the attitude of the boys. They told me today, whatever happens out there, they're going to win the game.
I mean, you spoke about prior to the game. You talked about the title race still wide open. How important is this win for Asante Kotoko in that conversation?
Yeah, it is good, but still I've not heard of the other results yet. But this is very good for us to make a big statement in the league.
Well, you've not heard of other results. I can tell you Gold Stars won and Mediema lost their game against Dreams FC.
Thank you.
Oh, Coach, he said what?
Thank God.
I mean, his second goal that Mediema lost, but Frisia also an interesting character. Emmanuel Korte, he was out for a longer period because of injury. He's back and he's balling, getting an assist today. Emma, congratulations to you. How does it feel, first of all, to be back on the pitch after that lengthy injury?
Thank you. I feel very happy, and being out for 1 year is not easy, and I thank God for coming back.
Of course, and your performance. I mean, it's not easy for players to come back and just integrate themselves back into the squad. But you've been able to keep up a good performance and winning MVP today. What has contributed to that?
Let me say, we the players are very disappointed in our position and our results. But we are going to fight. We are going to plead with the supporters to rally behind us, and we are going to make them happy.
Of course. Thanks very much, Kote. That is Emmanuel Kote. He has been adjudged the most valuable player in today's game. But we'll wrap up quickly. Jeffrey Asari will join me and we get to know how things really went. But we all know that Asante Kotoko won this one by 3 goals to 0, scoring 2 penalties in the process. Samba O'Neill hitting 1. And of course, Morfin Donzo also scoring the other penalty after Albert Hamwa had given them the lead. Jeff, I mean, in the end, 3-0 win for Asante Kotoko. Fans are happy. One of the best performances I've seen from the Porcupines in a long while.
That is what you need to do when you play for Asante Kotoko. Give quality, top-class performance, create excitement. At the end of it all, let the fans be excited. That's why they come into the Baba Sports to come and watch the game. Second half, you rather that, look, Nation started stronger. Kwame Boachi's ball, I mean, unfortunately, Manuel Ano couldn't. You realize that, look, since then, they've been playing very well, controlling, dominating possession. Asante Kotoko came in a bit stronger in the latter stages of the second half and started also dominating play. Prince Bedu has been superb. The substitutions made by the coach was spot on. Morofin Donzo, look at the penalty that Samba scored. Morofin Donzo had that play very well. And even though Dogo did not get the ball, but at least he was able to get to Baba Yaya, that led to the penalty. Penalty was especially converted by Samba O'Neill for the second goal.
Well, that is how Asante Kotoko ended up winning. I can tell you that from the other venues, Mediema lost to Dreams FC by 2 goals to 1, and Baby Gold Stars also defeating Vision by 2 goals to 0. So it means that Baby Gold Stars are now the league leaders. The league is getting interested. This is where we call it a wrap with our coverage here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. It has been an interesting one. Thanks to the APL crew for doing a wonderful job. And thanks to you at home for always sticking with us and doing the watching. It's the Ghana Premier League, the only league that matters. My name is Mutale Akubu. Thanks to Jeffrey Asari as well. We call it a wrap and do have a good evening.
In the heart of Ghana,